Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic. I believe it's the 30th of August. Pretty crazy. We are at the, what are we, three-fourths the way through the year, and school has started or is starting for everybody very soon. But let me tell you the crazy holidays today. We have Frankenstein Day, International Bacon Day. Gotta love that. National Beach Day. Isn't it every day International Bacon Day? I'm just, throwing that out there. National Beach Day and Toasted Marshmallow Day. Birthdays today, there's none, but if it's your birthday, happy birthday from the Pain Clinic. Hey, interested in roller derby, want to be a skater, officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you, contact recruitment at Rock Derby recruitment at gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby. Welcome to the show. I'm your humble host, the Cashman. I'm joined by DC Dan Cole. DC, how is it in NC?
Pretty good, and it's a good thing. School's going to be back in session, Cash, because there's 12 months, and we've now been through eight, so that's two-thirds, not three-fourths.
Pardon me, two-thirds. We've got four more months to go, and it'll be Christmas and all sorts of fun things. So welcome to the show. We got a lot of things we want to talk about today. I'll go through like a short list here, and then we probably deviate off these all the time, but I want to talk about what happened at Forbidden Door. We got Clash in Paris tomorrow. I was wrong last week. I thought it was Saturday. It is actually Sunday. Raha Jackson incident last weekend. We'll probably jump right at the beginning of that. Death Before Dishonor was last night for Ring of Honor. Big rumors going around about Chris Jericho, and last night Cena got to apologize for his heel turn on SmackDown. We'll talk about that during the show, but I'll tell you, it's a beautiful day here in Rochester. I'm so excited. I'm going to see the Black Keys tonight. First time ever. Never seen them. Playing CMAC tonight. I'm super excited. And Change is coming with me, as well as Change's, what would you call it? Change purse? I don't know. Sig other. There we go. Girlfriend, significant other. Allie will be joining us as well. And I'm sure, I'm going to get there early, but it's the weekend and I'm sure everybody's involved in it. If you have anything to do with fantasy football, this is the weekend to do all your drafts. And so I've got a bunch of them today, tomorrow, and the next day, and who knows? I mean, football season's a week away. And by the way, DC, you're welcome for the running back. He is an excellent running back and can take a bullet, I hear. So there you go. He's Robinson.
So is the trade fair? Because we gave you guys Debo. I know Debo's injury slash Diva history, so good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't care. I got McLaurin back. If I got McLaurin and Debo as my wideouts, I'm excited for that offense, especially with Jaden Daniels. So that I think that, by the way, you notice I got a belt over my shoulder here. That's 2 years in a row I've won the fantasy league, and then we have a belt. I'll show it to you. We meet tomorrow. It's the reunion fantasy championship. I've won it 2 years in a row. So I've been holding this belt. It's probably collecting dust in my house. But you've got all those. I've got that. So I'm just trying to mimic y'all with what I got. But
At
yeah,
least yours are for winning something. Mine is just from spending money.
yeah. Well, it costs money too. There's 18 years of this where I didn't win it. So, all donations to everybody else. But yeah, so this, I just want to throw it out that I'm sure everybody has got their fantasies things going on. I do as well. I've got two of them, multiple going on at the same time. So we'll see how that goes, including the one today. I'm sure you're involved in that, right? Too, with Murph's League, right?
No, I tried dabbling in fantasy football, but I don't have the attention span.
Yeah, it makes you more of a fan of the sport than just your team. So, and it's like and then you have to be a fan of the sport more.
Plus, without paying for any cable or any of the ways to view it, I don't actually take in that much football,
Yeah,
which is unfortunate. But I there's things I'd rather spend my money on.
true. I get that too. Yeah, I get that. So
How much does it cost now to see like every single game? Like over $500.
is it? Yeah, there's yeah. I
Well, when
mean,
you consider all the different platforms you have to have a subscription to catch them all.
yeah, there's some good deals right now for like 3 months. Yahoo will give it to you for like, I don't know. I think it was like $49 for their system, and they'll give you 3 months free of the NFL network or Something like that. I've been pondering that because Spectrum has cost too much, but it's interesting is Spectrum found a way to keep people by like offering up all the apps that you have to buy anyways if you want to watch like HBO Max, if you want to watch Disney Plus. Now they all come with Spectrum, which was a very wise decision by them because that stopped me from canceling. Because it's like I've got like I think 4 apps. Paramount, Peacock is on there as well. So that's instead of like 5 and 10 and 9 and whatever, it's all part of the big bundle with Spectrum. So but not that I'm going to promote them or anything. I was thinking for the longest time they were going to be gone from my house, but they haven't yet because they keep dabbling these little pieces in front of me to keep me enticed. But so let me jump into it. Let's talk about the Rod Jackson incident from last weekend. Kind of happened. I don't know if you guys have known or not, but Rod Jackson, son of Rampage Jackson, former UFC heavyweight champion, or middleweight, or light heavyweight, as light heavyweight champion, and as well as a Hall of Famer with UFC, and his son is getting into MMA. An incident happened at was it Hard Knocks? Is that what Hard Knocks is the wrestling promotion
Or
out.
Knox Pro or something like
Knox
that.
Pro, yeah, Knox Pro out in the West Coast. Rikishi owns it, so it's Rikishi's baby, and something happened before where they were kind of like building up an incident between him and another guy, Psycho Stu. And in the middle of Psycho Stu's match, Rod Jackson jumped the barrier, picked him up, dropped him on it, picked him up and did a real hard push. What was it? It was like he picked him up and slammed him backwards. Like it was a belly to belly, but it was a very high one because the dude is huge. Knocked him out cold and then punched him 20 some odd times in the face. And people were claiming, and listen, I was just as bad as anybody else. I thought, well, this guy's not reacting like it's a fan jumping him, so maybe this is an angle. And it originally was supposed to be an angle, but not like that. The Raha Jackson was guys got in his ear, wrestlers who probably don't like this guy or something, and said, give him his receipt. And I mean, when someone says that to you, I don't know what that means. But to him, it means freaking punch him while he's unconscious for 22 times on the mat, breaking teeth and all sorts of things. Just a disgusting display of something that can go totally wrong in the world of pro wrestling. I will say everybody's eyes have been on it. That's why I always, there's a slight thing saying, that maybe this, I don't know. There was supposed to be an incident, but not like that. Definitely. I mean, he obviously took it wrong when someone said, give him his receipt because
he probably wasn't also supposed to knock him out when he slammed him either.
Yeah. Psycho Stu kind of, before they showed video from the backstage where he smashed it. It looked like he smashed a can of beer on his head, but in reality, he hit his hands. You look at close, he didn't really hit him, but it was supposed to create an incident in which he was supposed to get the receipt during the match. It was just a disgusting display of violence. And I mean, obviously, Rod Jackson being an MMA fighter, an untrained pro wrestler, it was just, obviously should be arrested for assault. A lot of people have lost their jobs. WWE has washed their hands of this company and Rikishi from it because, that he's the guy who runs that company. And even if there was supposed to be, worked a little bit, that definitely turned out the wrong way. And what do you think? That was disgusting. I mean, and listen, I put it up first. I kind of said, well, maybe this wasn't real. But then after watching it a couple times, it's like, I'm getting sick. I can't watch it again. So,
yeah, I mean, what's to me is equally disgusting are the people defending him.
Yes.
And there's some like Val Venus, he's a douche. So like, okay, I could see him wanting to get in there. Mark Henry,
yeah,
defending him.
Rob Van Dam,
yeah, it's there's no excuse for what he did. He should have Here's the thing. Could you chalk it up to inexperience in a ring? Sure, maybe. But I'm sure being around his father in his father's line of work, I think you'd know when somebody is knocked out and not defending themselves.
Oh yeah.
And to stop.
And he didn't.
And he didn't.
He had to be pulled off, or he probably would have killed.
He could have killed the guy.
Yeah.
And he left him with, sounds like he's having memory issues. He has his teeth and jaw are all messed up. I don't know.
He was unconscious when they took him
Yeah,
out, I heard.
he should
So
have been arrested and charged.
yeah, and thank God the other wrestler ran in the ring and pulled him off because obviously, and he took a couple shots to the head too when the guy who pulled him off. It was like it's like he snapped, you know. It was disgusting,
And I feel like I saw somewhere another piece of the fallout from this is the guy who pulled him off, like somehow got fired from his job for all this.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a horrible situation, but yeah, I mean, this is not a good look for Rikishi either.
no, and this is
WWE pulling out of their ID program and
yeah,
they're hemorrhaging students right now.
yeah.
There's going to be a lawsuit.
Yeah, of course, someone's going to get sued. Something's going to
Yeah.
go bankrupt. I'm sure the company will go bankrupt. If there was any, I mean, this is like backstage handshake kind of things. Like this is what we're going to do on the angle. So it comes down to a he said, she said, he said, whatever. When it comes down to like when it goes to court, about what happened,
Right.
and he's going to say that. I mean, apparently one of the guys who was sitting next to him was one of the guys who told him to give him his receipt, but I don't, the kid didn't understand or what. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out as we get more into it. But
If you get hit, you can give a receipt.
yes,
But to go into business for yourself and land 20 punches on an unconscious person,
yeah,
that's not a receipt. That's assault.
it was sickening. It's interesting. All the pros have come out and talked about how, like Hurricane Helms had made some comments on it, and he goes, receipt in a match when a guy slips by accident and hits you happens in a match once. He goes, but this is something he's never seen ever in the business. I mean, because it's all professional once you get out in that ring. And he's like, this was, something he's never seen before. A lot of people have never seen anything like this before,
No.
So it's a shame. And it's like Psycho Stu. I saw a picture. Yes, he's conscious in the hospital. A bunch of people were visiting him and stuff, but man, it's disgusting. It's like, I mean, it's something that shouldn't happen. And because of social media, we knew about it instantaneously.
Right.
And that's where I guess, social media becomes like, the watchdog, for businesses and stuff. And I'm glad he's alive. I'm glad he's conscious. It's a shame. And hopefully, never see anything like this ever again. And that was a big, and listen, Rampage Jackson had some issues with anger management issues too. Okay. In his past, I know he said he flipped out in the middle of the highway in LA and beat somebody up because he had gotten like a fender bender or something about 10 years ago. So he's had issues himself. Of course he's going to defend his son. Of course he immediately apologized for that, but, there's probably way more to the story and we'll get more to it, but it's like what we saw was disgusting and we should never see that again. And it's like, I'm glad nobody even broached it, or, had, I mean, apparently the 4-Rope Wrestling Company had Enzo kick somebody out in the crowd last night but it was definitely, that was a work, definitely 100%. And they even said that after it happened. A guy who was like a writer for the newspaper and hosted a podcast and stuff. So, hey, if we go to a show and we're sitting close, don't kick us, man. We didn't do it, but it's like, so that's the close. I mean, I would figure for a while, we're not going to see anybody working out of the audience, but incorrect. That was last night. I did see some information on that, but like I said, once again, the first thing they said too was, that was without a doubt a work. They didn't want to get anybody wondering about that. So, cause now you got a question, when something like this happens, and it's like, it's just sad. It's just, this is like staged violence. This is not real violence in the world of pro wrestling,
Like, but that wouldn't be tolerated in the UFC or in cage fighting.
Oh,
or
no.
Anywhere. And I was trying to think too, like, as you mentioned, Hurricane Helm saying he's never seen anything quite like this. I was racking my brain trying to think of like receipts gone wrong. The only thing I could think of was Lesnar and Strowman.
Yeah.
Where, Strowman was going off a bit too fast and Lesnar tagged him back. But then the only other thing that came to my mind was Bob Holly destroying Matt Capitelli.
Yeah, I remember Perry Saturn, there's a guy named Mike Bell who was like a enhancement talent, and Perry Saturn kind of went to town on him and actually got in a huge amount of trouble. And Mike Bell kind of got like a contract with WWE because of it. Happened in Binghamton. So I remember that happening, and it was only because I think he made too many mistakes in the ring, and Perry Saturn got mad about it. And then just started beating up on him outside the ring, punching him in the head and stuff. So, but yeah, never. I mean, and ended clean in the ring. So eventually, but yeah, I've never seen anything like that. And I hope I never see anything like that again. And UFC is meant for the octagon, not for a four-sided ring, four rope boxing, maybe. I mean, they're pushing this boxing like crazy as it is, but yeah, but the thing is they got everybody's eyes on it. So there's, and then phony bookings for Raha Jackson came out. And that was completely phony. The one that, and then if that was real, then I may have changed my mind on what was going on, but he was definitely punching the guy unconscious. And that's, big no, hitting a guy, attacking a guy, coming in the ring. You know what? If you ever go over the ropes and run in the ring, you're going to get taken out. I remember
Which you deserve.
Earl Hebner took people out. Okay. And he was good enough. He was quick enough that he could do that. He knew when something wasn't wrong. So it was like, I mean, you got to give partial blame that they didn't have anybody there to stop that too. I mean, it wasn't until he had all that stuff had happened before anyone ever made a move. So, but yeah, I don't know what you guys think in the chat room. That's, I think that was just a pretty scary situation, and hopefully we'll never see that again. But, and I hope the guy's okay. I mean, there's a lot of psychos out there, they spell it all different ways. And it's like this guy, and he apparently was an Army vet too. So there's a lot of people like, who pro-military are just completely, up in arms over this. So, well, we hope, Psycho Stu is okay and ends up being okay out of it. He might have to retire, depending on how much damage happened, I mean, but I hate having any dental work. And when someone says they break their teeth and stuff, it just makes me like sick, and it's never never intentional, even when it does happen in the ring most of the time. So, and this is completely intentional. So we'll have more on it as we go on, but I wanted to definitely get that out of the way because it was a week ago. And so we're like late on the news on it and stuff, but
Do you watch Invincible, Cash?
I do. Yes. Yes.
Kind of Mark and Conquest.
Yeah. Big time, man. Yeah. It's, Invincible is a very graphic cartoon. I love it, man. It's a great, it's like, but it's just there's a lot of red in the animation, So let's jump to something else. Let's talk a little bit about we've got Paris WWE Clash in Paris tomorrow. I don't want to go to that yet. I want to go to Judgment Day, or I'm sorry, Judgment Day. I want to talk about the Forbidden Door last weekend. Unfortunately, I only saw the prelims, so I did not get to see the whole thing. But DC, you watched the entire pay-per-view. What'd you think? I mean, it was a lot of multi-man matches that went on. Yeah, and it went very long too. It did go very long. I mean, but the last two matches last, in total an hour, I think, between the last two matches. So, how'd you feel about the results? I mean, we got. They found a way to write Osprey out, because Osprey obviously has some issues, and but what'd you think overall?
Well, we finally have our answer to how do you do a 10-man steel cage.
I saw that. It looked like Hell in a Cell, I mean, a little bit bigger.
Kind of, yeah, without the top. Not my favorite AEW show. The whole Forbidden Door moniker has kind of lost some of its luster.
Yeah, when most of the guys work for AEW already.
Right. But that aside, it's still an above average pay-per-view. Maybe slightly below AEW standards, but still, head and shoulders above anything else out there right now.
Yeah, I will say we got Toni Storm defending her title. A lot of people are very unhappy about that.
Very surprised at that.
Yeah, Athena, they built Athena up for such a long time. I mean, Athena's still a champ, but I think there's a lot, and we talked about that a lot last weekend, how Rob was very, insistent on Athena getting over in that pay-per-view, and it didn't happen. But I think that, there was, there was a look like there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of crazy action. I mean, we have new tag champs. I think that's fantastic.
That was a surprise.
Yeah, that is definitely a surprise.
I predicted I thought there would be new champs in that. I didn't think it was going to be that team.
Yeah, Brodito, and crazy match. I saw some of the highlights of that. Oh my God, that was just, I think, an insane match in general, and it looked like a lot of fun. Man, it was definitely one of those. If you can catch it on replay, you definitely want to, because there was definitely, I mean, like you said, it wasn't like your favorite, but there was a lot of quality stuff going on the pay-per-view. You got to
There always is. They always find a way to put on a great show.
they had 4 pre-show matches, with the first one 8-man tag, second one trios match, third one 8-woman tag, fourth one trios match. So in that process, you got 6, let's see, 8-woman tag. So you got 22 wrestlers on the show in the first 4 matches. You got you got the one of the big what kicked off the show was Cope and Cage versus Kill Switch and Kip Sabian, and that, I think there's more. Obviously, there's more for Cope and Cage to come. They're probably going to hold those titles eventually. But they're still, they've got to just knock off some more tag teams. But got Kyle Fletcher beating Takahashi by pinfall right after that. Mercedes Moné beating Alex Windsor, Bozilla, and Persephone for the TBS title. So Monet still on the run with all the belts. How many has she got? 9?
9.
Yeah. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Nigel McGuinness. We did not have the turn from Daniel Garcia in that match that maybe we thought might have happened. Yet we'll say. Brodito, of course, winning the tag titles. Okada over Swerve Strickland. Swerve, we have some news about him later. It's Tony Storm beating Athena, coming out looking like painted like a white, completely
French
white.
Revolutionary, like
Very, yeah, like they have like the powdered face, powdered wigs and everything. It was a Hangman Page beating MJF. It was a pin, I believe, and that kudos to that was exciting, because that really is a marker for Hangman. It's like, okay, eek. And then we had obviously the last was the lights out steel cage match with a million people, and that was exciting as well. Of course, with the Golden Lovers and Darby Allin and Tanahashi, Will Ospreay defeating Death Riders, Young Bucks, Gabe Kidd, 32-minute long match. And before that, the Hangman MJF was 31. So that was, a very, very long pay-per-view, and exciting as well.
But at least it was on early in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was an early one. Like tomorrow's, I think, is at 3:00 or no, 1:00. The WWE Clash in Paris. Is it one? I can't remember what time it is. It might be 2 or 3. I can't remember, but that is going on as well. But yeah, so that was we had a lot of fun making our predictions, and we probably weren't anywhere near that. And while we're at it, I'm going to talk a little bit before we move on from this topic about the Death and Dishonor pay-per-view. Death Before Dishonor, 2025. Last night we had Ring of Honor do their Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, and we had a lot of I saw some scenes from it. I did not see it, but I saw the Bandito Hechicero match, and it was like, I thought, they were slamming each other on the barricades. They were picking them up and slamming one down on the 8-inch wide barricade.
Yeah.
If you want to see some great action, go back and watch that. It was a great pay-per-view last night. I'm trying to think of it. Did anything really change? We did see pretty much all the titles were held in check by, we did have Queen Aminata win the inaugural Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship against Taya Valkyrie. Don't want to confuse her with someone from WWE, but Beyond that, we also had Shane Taylor Promotions win the six-man tag teams from Marshall Von Erich, Ross, and Sammy Guevara. So there was a couple title changes, but Athena defended the Ring of Honor Championship. Bandito defeated Henchicero, still holding the World WWE, or sorry, Ring of Honor World Championship. And the vacated Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions were won by Sammy Guevara and Roosh by defeating the Outrunners, which is a shame. Those guys never get to win. QT Marshall wrestled Paul Walter Hauser, a fight without honor match, and he beat him. So it looked like it was a fun night overall. And Ring of Honor is always a quality show. So you definitely want to check that out if you go back and look at some stuff. So I'm going to move a little bit ahead to some of the other things we wanted to talk about. Clash in Paris is tomorrow. On WWE, it's WWE's. I mean, I'm not that impressed by the lineup, but I will go through it real quick and let us all, make our judgments whether it's going to be good or not. But it's right now, I think it's only 6 matches right now. John Cena and Logan Paul probably will be the main event in the singles match. John Cena last night on SmackDown got to apologize to the little Brussels kid that they keep showing in video packages.
Bad Brussels kid.
Yeah. The funny thing is he was like, the adults crowded him out when John came to the side, to the edge of the barrier. And so John had to kind of like push people out of the way so that the kid could stick his head
because
out.
adults are idiots like that.
Big time, man, especially like when they don't speak English. I don't know if people knew what he was doing because they were cutting most of the promo in English. There was some French going on as well. But I think so John Cena is taking on Logan Paul. We got Rollins versus Punk versus Uso versus LA Knight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, I don't care. Sheamus versus Rusev in a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Of course, you're doing Donnybrook in France. You could have probably thought of a French connection there, maybe a good old, Eiffel Tower match or something. I don't know. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed because of the sneakers, I guess, because, Bronson Reed likes wearing sneakers around his shoulders. Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't tell you how little I care for everything I'm hearing you say right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is number one, Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team Championship. 6 matches set for it. And that was determined last night when the Street Profits beat the Miz and Carmelo Hayes. And they were there and so, yeah, it's not anything, it sounds like like a house show. I mean, is it that big? I mean, John Cena tried to make it a big deal last night, in his cutting a promo, trying to make it a big deal, by saying that, Logan Paul expects the world without putting any effort in, it's like, oh, he could have said that about anybody, and Cody Rhodes is not involved at all. You know why? Because Cody Rhodes is in the middle of making, was it Street Fighter movie? Is that what he's?
Yeah, I think he's going to be Guile.
Yeah, he's going to be Guile in Street Fighter, and he's in Australia, and he just had a baby apparently yesterday too, or a couple days ago. Him and his wife Brandy had a new baby, so he's got 2 kids now, which is congrats to Cody Rhodes. That's always a wonderful thing to add to your family. So now they have 4 kids and a dog. So but. Yeah, there's no Cody Rhodes on this show, so that's probably he's the champ, he's the big champ, So, and there's a lot of people not getting any work on it too, so it's like, but yeah, it's very unexciting, and I mean, I will watch it still. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't feel like there's a lot of draw to it. One of the things I did want to mention in my highlights was Cena apologizing to the Brussels kid. So if you go back and watch it, I watched it again this morning just because, and it was just so funny how you're in France, you're doing your promo mostly in English, and Cena's like, I want to do one thing, and he runs out in the crowd, and they couldn't get the kid a closer seat to where Cena was going to come out. You have to go he's like probably I don't know 10 rows back on the edge, and that's where people just collided around him, and John Cena.
Put the kid ringside.
Yeah, I know. Definitely make it, you have all those wonderful seats you give to the wrestlers at shows, why don't you like, I think they probably, the thing is,
Well, they probably still wanted somebody to pay $2,000 for the seat, so they're like, nah, let's not give him that good of a seat.
yeah, that's true. He can, he may, I'm sure John, he apologized to him. They went back in the ring, finished a promo, and then when he was leaving, he like said something to him, and then he's like, yeah, 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 and then he's like, and then he left, and it was, it was, I didn't, I don't ever think about whenever they catch someone's reaction to something, and they kind of like, like the guy when the Undertaker lost. They make them bigger than, bigger, as big as the match, but in their reaction. And it's like, so that kid covered head to toe in John Cena gear once again. And he's a kid that John Cena told him to get a life or whatever when he went heel and cut that whole heel promo on anybody, and the kids and stuff. And so, I don't know. Have you watched any?
WWE is going to have a fun time scrubbing that heel turn from the record books.
Yeah, that's. Have you watched any heel Peacemaker?
I've not.
Oh gosh, beware of that show.
I heard the second season opens up with quite the imagery.
If you're talking about naked men, yeah, they're in there. Yeah, there's a orgy. Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. So that, and I mean the second episode's, if you like watching someone hacksaw a body apart, there you go, second episode. So it's definitely not for kids. And I'm sorry I spoiled that if you hadn't watched it yet, but it is a good show. I mean,
kids got to learn. Let them watch it, Cass.
No, I don't. Yeah, that's. John Cena hacksawing John Cena apart. That's what it was. So it was very interesting. But yeah, be careful, kids, if you're watching that. And, I wonder I was wondering, it's like, there's like naked guys standing around just for a few seconds in each shot. And they had to have like cast them, and whether they like, okay, take off your pants. We got to see how, I don't know. Now, I shouldn't think about things like that and just worry about, like how am I going to pay the bills and stuff. So, yeah, so be careful of that. But yeah, so John Cena's like, he's raring and he's going and that was a 3-month heel turn. We knew he was going to come back. So we knew he definitely was coming back to being a face. So, but on that note, one more thing we're going to talk about, then I'll go through the news. Chris Jericho, pardon me, I should never clear my voice in front of a microphone. Chris Jericho in the news.
Miss being in the studio having those cough buttons?
Yeah, I know. I do miss that. I mean, I usually can but then I have to pot it back up. And sometimes I forget to pot it back up. But so, yeah, Chris Jericho, a lot of rumors floating around. I mean, is he worth a surprise to come back to WWE?
WWE, yes, because that's all they care about in those moments and the reactions. They want something that's going to trend online and rack up tons of views on YouTube and TikTok. So
the question is
right up their alley.
The question is Chris Jericho is a smart enough wrestler that he would ask for more than just a surprise appearance. He wants a series of matches with somebody. He wants to be part of the show. And the thing is he's at the age now where he could get a Legends contract and maybe just show up, once in a while and stuff like that. So it's like, I understand, but he's been very blunt about things in WWE. And I think that, maybe someone could hold those things against him. I'm not sure. I mean,
so was CM Punk.
You're right. CM Punk had to apologize before the Blood Money show. He had to get out in the ring and say, "I'm sorry, I said that stuff," and that's legit. So, yeah. Yeah, that's I wonder. I just wonder. I mean, it's not a surprise if you know about it in August that his contract ends out at the end of the year, and they might want to do a Royal Rumble thing, but it's like, that's one reason why I probably wouldn't sign him, because, that's what everyone's going to expect. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things he can do. He's done. I mean, there's so many things. You think of Chris Jericho, you think about all the different personas he's had. I mean, you're on the list, and, all sorts of, he's had some things that were, he's had some great ideas and did some great things in WWE. And even when he came to AEW, it got old, it
was too much,
yeah.
Too much of him.
Yeah. It's like, can we think of another group name we can get to?
He was great and instrumental right off the bat, but the Jericho Appreciation Society. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the Learning Tree stuff was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is he said he was taking a break in April due to bad crowd reactions. And it's like, but you were a heel most of the time. What are you expecting? You got to get bad crowd reactions. You know, they're not playing sing along every time. Like when
Yeah, but he was getting that go away heat.
remember when they used to sing Judas? Yeah.
And they
So
had to change his music.
yeah, I'm a big fan of Jericho, even though he's really, you know, he's when we were on the radio and doing the show, he eventually insulted half the crew. You know, he never insulted me, but he insulted Danger. He insulted everybody else because he didn't like the questions they were asking or whatever, you know. And
Yeah, I
so,
remember him being a very standoffish interview.
yeah. So, but I remember, well, I mean, I remember interviewing when he was backstage at MSG, and it was like a couple of years after he had done the Money in the Bank, and he just took all the credit in the world for that. That's for sure. He was like, "Yep, that was my idea. I did the whole thing." So but I do appreciate him. I've met him many times, and he's very very friendly and very media friendly. So, well, we'll
But
see
I
what
think the natural thing for him is go back to WWE and feud with Cody Rhodes.
there. Yeah, why not? You know, I mean, he could be another one notch on his belt there, you know, or whatever it is. You know, you're not going to get the title.
Although that would require acknowledging their past in AEW, but
True, true. He could. I mean, I think they would bring him in and they would have him like be someone to put over young guys, which is always like the case whenever they bring a veteran in most of the time. CM Punk's not doing that though. He's putting himself over. So, but they're, you know, how many young guys are really in the main event spot in WWE, you know, not many. So, it's interesting to see where Chris Jericho will end up. What happens. I mean, I know that Jim Ross mentioned a couple weeks ago that he would like to end his career in WWE, and then Tony Khan just signed him to a contract. So maybe same thing will happen with Chris Jericho. You know, he will like because Tony Khan's also addressed that at one of the press conferences. He said that Chris Jericho is instrumental in the company starting. He's always welcome there. And apparently Chris Jericho he basically booked everything he did through Tony. It was nobody else involved in what he did on AEW. So,
I
uh,
agree with that. He was very instrumental in helping AEW get going. But
they're,
now I
they're,
feel like
they're
his
going.
last kind of stuff he was doing in AEW is dead weight that nobody was liking.
Oh, when he had that Ring of Honor championship, and nobody wanted that. You know, it's like, come on, put it on someone who, like, you know, is, you know, neat can use the boost. You know, and there's a lot, you know, especially when he defended it. You know, it's like, you know, we always were. We don't hate Chris Jericho, but he realized, you know, I mean, you do got to put over the younger guys, but those guys are always, you know, the oldest veterans are always the ones who are, you know, want to keep in the spotlight, you know. So, and not to say that he's, I'm sure there's more to it. There's a lot of strategy and philosophy in the world of pro wrestling, but you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, if he comes back to WWE, he's not going to have much say about, except for the fact that he does make up most of his own stuff. He does create his own, you know, his own angles and his characters and stuff. And you know, he's been very good at that. You know,
That's good
remember,
because WWE creative is
yeah,
not very good right now.
yeah. Maybe he could work with them. You know, maybe think about it. Oh, listen, Pat's telling me I'm not going to pay $30 a month for WWE on ESPN. Yeah, that's better find another way by September, which is a couple days away because September 20th is their first ESPN event. That's another one that I get through Spectrum. So if you have Spectrum, there's like 4 or 5 apps that they'll give to you. They tell you that, and they sent me an email saying you don't have to worry about this. You'll get this still because you know. So you know it makes Spectrum look better, I guess. You know, because it's part of their deal. It's another thing. I'm not paying $30 a month. I wouldn't either. I get it, man. When 9.99 was kind of a stretch because we never had to pay anything. You know, we'd go and host them in their bars, but everything else was free beyond that. We would host
Yeah.
so the bar would cover the pay-per-view. We would, but 9.99 is like, whoa, you know, and that's really what killed us doing the pay-per-views at Salvatore's is because everyone's at home watching them, paying $10 a month, and
Yeah.
that Yeah. So, and that really was the end of us doing pay-per-views. This could be a way for it to happen again, though. We can maybe they could come down and host them, and like they'll put them on ESPN because I'm sure they have like all that stuff, But yeah, I get you, Pat, man. I definitely get you. That's if you don't have cable and you say you'd have to have a Roku at least, and then or something, some sort of streaming device, or on we're gonna actually. It's interesting you mentioned that because Tony Khan had some problems with the streaming stuff last night. We're gonna talk about in a second, but when I get into
But a great recovery on that.
yeah, I love it. I feel maybe everyone will be able to take advantage of that. That's what I was thinking. So let me jump to the news, and we'll go through a whole bunch of stuff here. So WWE Raw is going to be moving an hour earlier in September, so it'll be 7 o'clock to whenever they finish 9:30. Now they usually are done by 10:30 every night when it starts at 8. So that might be a permanent thing. Right now it's listed on Netflix for September 15th, 22nd, and 29th. They're all scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. And instead of 8 o'clock. So they haven't made an announcement about that yet, whether that's going to be permanent or anything, but it's interesting because they have some other shows that are weird times. Like they're going to have one in October on the 13th that's going to be at 8 a.m. I think it's because they're going to be in Perth, Australia. So they're going to have a Monday Night Raw at 8 a.m. on October 13th.
Coincidence that they're going to be going with some earlier times now that they're going to have some stiff competition on Monday nights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's more competition news in here too. And by the way, September 1st episode of Raw, which is Labor Day, 2 p.m. start time. They're in Paris, France, so they're still over there. Obviously, they got the pay-per-view tomorrow, and then their Monday Night Raw will be at 2 p.m. You'll do what I do is I turn it on at 7, and it's like, or there's one time I turned it on, it was like ending. It's like, did I miss something? Oh, it's starting earlier. So just remember that on Monday, 2 p.m. is when Raw starts. So you get that out of the way real early. Let's see. Real American Freestyle Wrestling is has their show the 30th today. That's their first show. Hopefully they sold some tickets. They're going to do
Let's see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, they're going to be they're doing a special tribute to Hulk Hogan that will air on their first event. So of course you want to do you honor the man who like actually kicked off this whole thing with him and Eric Bischoff, teasing the big surprise. So but yeah, it's this weekend is their very first show. I don't know anybody who's excited about it except for Eric Bischoff and Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle's like being one of their commentators. And Kurt Angle's legit, obviously legit wrestler. So, and there's a lot of legitness going on with this, but it's still as a pro wrestling. It's like trying to do legit wrestling with personalities. It's like, we'll see what happens. I don't know.
I call BS on the latest ticket numbers. The current setup for Real American Freestyle Wrestling is 3,700. That's the setup.
Okay.
According to WrestleTix, tickets distributed 3,200.
Yeah, they went and handed out a bunch of free ones. I'm guessing. Will they show up?
Doesn't say tickets sold.
And this is in Cleveland, right? This is
yes.
Yeah. So we will see. I guess we will see some stuff about it coming out. But this is their debut weekend, and they lost one of their main promoters, Hulk Hogan, who, his name alone draws people to things. And I know that because we talked about it before. A lot of fans.
This could very well be the first and last show simultaneously.
It could be. Yeah. Sorry, Eric Bischoff. I know you're happy about it. He didn't come out and promote it. Then, he didn't go out and find people to talk about it. So, some news: AEW star Swerve Strickland was on social media Wednesday indicating he underwent successful knee surgery. He posted a photo of his bandaged right knee on Instagram and wrote "success" in a social media post. He underwent to repair a meniscus tear, so it's not that bad. A meniscus tear, it's not as bad as like say an ACL or any of the ligaments being hurt. So it's just a meniscus tear. So we don't know how long he'll be out, but I'm guessing a meniscus tear will probably be a few months. So kudos to him. Diamond Dallas Page was on social media earlier this week, and he said he had recently underwent a cardioversion procedure that experienced atrial fibrillation. It's a condition where the heart upper chambers beat irregularly and rapidly. And Page explained that the episode happened while he was working out, and added that he wasn't wearing a heart monitor at the time. So he had to actually be defibrillated. He had to actually have, he had to go to the hospital and have them straighten his heartbeat out. And they did, and he's okay now. But that's a big, he's getting up there in age, and he's in great shape for his age, but he's, your heart only has so many years on it. And he, hopefully Diamond Dallas Page is okay. Friend of the show. We definitely love him. So on Tuesday, TKO announced that them and Utah Sports Commission reached agreement to have a Halloween episode of SmackDown in October, and a November edition of WWE Saturday Night's Main Event coming to Salt Lake City, Utah. Of course, Saturday Night's Main Event's now on Peacock only. And so it'll be a fun show. I'm guessing if it's a Halloween show, people will come out dressed up. Maybe we'll get rapper John Cena again, doing the Vanilla Ice thing, I don't know. But, so they made a big deal about that, coming up on obviously the 31st of October, and then the next day, November 1st, SmackDown being a Friday, then Saturday being obviously the Saturday Night's Main Event. Seth Rollins had some news this week. He loves football, obviously, and WWE World Heavyweight Champion is now guest host on NFL's Good Morning Football and the syndicated GMFB Good Morning Football Overtime. And this is for the whole season. So Seth Rollins is going to be busy talking. He loves football. He's a Chicago Bears fan, so he hasn't really had much to talk about. He definitely has had not much to talk about. Tonight on AEW Collision, we got Juice Robinson versus Big Bill, and it's going to be at the ECW Arena. What do they call it? 2300 Arena.
The 2300 Arena.
Yeah, what'd you think about that show? The 2300, this past Dynamite. They were at the. They're going to be there for a bunch of shows in a row.
They're essentially doing a residency.
Yeah, they are. So I like the setup. It was good.
I thought the first show was great.
Yeah. I definitely, it was, it's fun. I mean, there's obviously a lot of ECW fans there, because when they're doing STF up, whatever, when they're telling the guy who's in the ring to shut the F up, and the first beginning of the show, it's like, you knew that was going to happen, and because of the reputation ECW Arena had, that was going to happen. So you're going to get a lot of that.
And Philly in general. So
yeah. Enjoy your Super Bowl win, you idiots. Okay. So, I mentioned Jim Ross. He on his Grilling with JR podcast said that Tony Khan and he extended his contract. He's going to be there one more year. He signed a new 1-year deal that'll expire a year from now. So Jim Ross will be there at least for another year, and Tony Khan doesn't want to let him go back to WWE, so maybe he won't. Speaking of Tony Khan, during Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view last night, a technical issue with the streaming provider Brightcove prevented fans using Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, which is pretty much every browser, from accessing the show. In response, AEW president Tony Khan made the event available to watch for free on YouTube and granted all Honor Club members a complimentary 1-month credit for the inconvenience. And he mentioned that he addressed that during the streaming problems during the post-show media scrum, explained his decision, noting that while offering the free credit is costly, it was the right thing to do. He added that AEW will work with Brightcove to resolve issues moving forward. So I think that means we can watch it too, even if we're not.
It is still up on YouTube right now.
Okay, so if you want to watch Death Before Dishonor last night, it's on YouTube, and as soon as we get done with the show, I'm going to turn it on. This is a little bit. If you like house shows, this is good and bad, I guess. WWE recently returned to running live events, quote unquote, house shows. And the talent are saying that they're enjoying the experience. The company's currently on a European tour. They're doing a bunch of house shows over in Europe. WWE still plans on running its annual holiday live event tour after Christmas, but they're not really adding many house shows at all. They used to, they're running 15 main house shows compared to usually when they would put 50 in during a year. So it's like they're still not going to be touring. It allows them to work contracts differently with the talent and stuff. I read stuff about that, and cost scheduling, the talent health, and the overall balance stopped the house shows from happening. Vince McMahon built this company on house shows, so I have a feeling that eventually they're going to have to go back to a more, more touring. But
See, but he built the company on house shows because that was one of the only ways you could experience it at the time.
yeah,
Now there's so many different opportunities to view the content. It's unnecessary, but I think it's also beneficial to give the wrestlers that break so they don't have to be on the road in the ring 300 days out of the year.
oh yeah, I think without a doubt, yeah, and I think, and then you're gonna get the guys who worked back when they had to do all that stuff, going, well, in my day, we had to do 300. We did 3 shows a day. We did 45 shows in the month of July. It was like,
Good for you. How does it feel to be 55 years old and not able to walk?
yeah, you can't walk, and you got back problems, and it's a good, yeah, it will make longevity for wrestlers better. So I think that's a good thing. Definitely a good thing.
I'll
So
never understand the whole my generation suffered, so yours has to too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want better for you. You have to have what I have.
There you go. Uh, this is an interesting story. This next one, WWE started buying ad space on HBO Max during episodes of AEW Dynamite to promote upcoming television tapings. This week's episode of AEW Dynamite, for example, featured ads promoting an upcoming episode of WWE Raw in Evansville, Indiana. While both WWE and AEW have previously run ads on each other's programming, this marks the first time WWE has extended the tactic to a streaming platform. We have been talking the last few weeks about how WWE's worried about AEW, and it's like this is a perfect example. They're promoting their product in commercial spaces. I mean, we've seen it before locally when they have local drops on wrestling shows for other companies, but this is them going out of their way to buy an HBO Max, the streaming. I think it really says a lot for the state of wrestling business. And as much as you guys all want AEW to die, they're doing.
How does that not do anything other than benefit AEW?
Yeah, yeah, big time.
Hey, look, we pulled in money from them.
Yeah, I think it just shows the fact that they take them as a serious. They're not blowing them off and thinking, they're saying that their fans are as legit. I mean, listen, we knew that when they started bringing people over back from AEW, and then running like Cody Rhodes comes out and the same music he was, in AEW, and CM Punk, I mean, they couldn't wait to get him on TV after that. So, it definitely, so I just find that interesting that story is that now they're buying each other's ad times on their shows to promote their product. And it's like, WWE is like, we're bigger than everybody. Titan, we're giant. And no, you're not. This is a little bit of a reality check for everybody, is that, TKO is a smart company. That's what, and I think it has a lot to do with it too. They're smart, and they don't discount other businesses because they're competition. WWE on the other hand in the past has, and that may have been from the top down. I'm guessing. So that's cool news. On to some other news. Orange Cassidy, we talked about him a couple weeks ago. He is expected back in the ring somewhat soon. Hopefully soon. After being sidelined since March 2025 with a torn pectoral muscle. This report backs up that Cassidy has been medically cleared and was on track to return. And now with Ospreay and Swerve Strickland down for a while, you might see Orange Cassidy a lot sooner. Maybe they'll hold him off till after All Out, because that's only a couple weeks away, and then bring him, maybe have him a surprise up in Toronto. When I really want to go to that, it's like,
Do it, Cash, do it.
It's not that far away, I haven't been to Canada since COVID, so I don't know. It's interesting. If you watched last night's SmackDown during the main event of the Clash in Paris Go Home show of SmackDown in Lyon, crowd favorite Sami Zayn defeated Solo Sikoa to become the new WWE United States champion. Kudos to Sami Zayn getting a belt now. It's not the heavyweight championship, but it's making their way up there. I did mention Cody Rhodes and his wife, Brandy, had a new baby born, Leilani Ella Runnels. Congratulate to them. And that's pretty much all the news I got for today. We did cover a lot of the those topics, those, like that Raha Jackson and everything. So is there anything I'm missing, DC? Do you think we got anything else to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered all the highlights this week. If you want, well, some highlights, some lowlights.
Yeah, and I just want to remind you, one thing before we get out of here, that Clash in Paris is tomorrow on Peacock, obviously, and it's I'm not sure what time it starts. Now, I still haven't been able to find. I think it's either 1 o'clock. They start streaming, 1 or 2. So, but that is tomorrow. You definitely don't want to miss that. Maybe you do after running down the card, we didn't really find anything that was that exciting about it, but
2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. There we go.
Starts.
Okay. So you got that on the one Sunday when there's no football for till next year. So DC, I want to thank you for the time today. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat room. We will, too. Thanks a lot, Pat. Appreciate that. You guys, thank you for everybody with Bill and Chuck, all you guys in there listening. I appreciate that. We couldn't do it without you guys. We'll be back next week, talk about all sorts of results of this and what's going on. And next week will be the first football weekend of the year. So we're all going to be super happy, I'm guessing. I can't wait, but we'll get out of here. You guys have a great week. And don't forget, we'll be back here next Saturday morning, same bat time, same bat.